Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope your day and your week are going well so far. We've got a new day, which of course means a new NBA player prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it means a lot to us. So if you haven't already, consider becoming a member of the Guy Boston Sports community today. Apologies, I know I haven't been around a lot as much lately. Of course, my vacation, and then the golf tournament, and excuses. I am back here. We're in the home stretch of the playoffs here. We got Western Conference Finals, Game 5 tonight between the Timberwolves and the Dallas Mavericks in Minnesota. Should be a really, really good game. I got a nice little 4-leg parlay to hand out for today's slate. And if you guys missed it, I am back to doing MLB videos again after a long break. I've been doing MLB videos. We've been on a pretty hot run too, so if you haven't seen those, check those out. We're 8-2 over our last 2 days, 40-27 on the year so far with our MLB props, so don't be afraid to go ahead and check that out. I've been doing pretty well with baseball. But this is NBA. This is our NBA video right here. Western Conference Finals, Game 5. I know you guys are ready. I am too. Let's dive into today's parlay. Go ahead and jump into the Outlier screen, guys. Outlier, if you watch our videos, you know they are the best sports betting tool in the market. If you haven't watched my videos, they're the best sports betting tool in the market. They are the official sponsor of our player prop videos here on the channel and a very good friend and sponsor of Guy Boston Sports in general. We do have a special link in our description down below that gives you guys a 7-day free trial to check it out for yourself. I show in all my videos how Outlier works. It's a really great tool. It gives you so much data, so much insight, and consolidates everything. Before I had Outlier, and I always say this all the time, if they weren't a sponsor on the show, I would still use Outlier. Before Outlier, I was taking so much extra time trying to do research for these props because, like I always say, research is key when it comes to sports betting props. Outlier consolidates all the data. It makes it so much easier, puts it all in one place, and it really is convenient. So, guys, there is a link down below. Gives you a 7-day free trial. You try it out. You don't like it, you cancel it. No charge to you whatsoever. It's risk-free, but I guarantee you guys you won't be disappointed with it. So like I said, give it a try down below. You got nothing to lose. So we got a 4-leg parlay for today's video. I thought about doing multiple parlays, but this Mavs Timberwolves series has been so hard to get a grip on with the way this series has gone with some of the, Karl Towns playing as bad as he has, and Anthony Edwards has been up and down, and a lot of up and down performances across the board here. So I'm going to stick it to one parlay. We're going to do 4 legs here. And the first leg of that 4-leg parlay, we're going PJ Washington here under 13.5 points. Plus assists. We're getting this from -110 on DraftKings. Also available on FanDuel, -102 if you want to shop around the odds there. And it's also available on BetMGM, PrizePicks, and on Caesars. No alternate lines in today's parlay, guys. So if you want to bet these straight up, you can obviously bet this by itself. Throw in your own parlay. All of the legs I'm giving you guys today are all like straight bets. You can do whatever you want with them. Of course, we are parlaying them here. That's the purpose of it. But again, there are no alternate lines, so you can go ahead and do with them what you please. Enough rambling. Let's get into it. PJ Washington, under 13.5 points plus assists here. Again, -110 odds. We're getting it for DraftKings. And you see here, 5 of his last 10 games, he has cashed this under, averaging 17.1 points plus assists per game. Now, you see a lot of red here. That's obviously going back to that Thunder series when PJ Washington really went nuclear. But we got to go ahead and narrow this data down to the last 5 games, which includes the last game of his series versus OKC and all 4 games in this Minnesota series. And what you see is a lot of green on the under. He hasn't had as great of a series versus the Timberwolves as he's had versus the Thunder, which is pretty predictable. OKC struggles with guys down low. They struggle with size. Not so much Minnesota. Again, look at the right side of the screen here. On the year, Minnesota versus power forwards, top 3 in points allowed and the best in assists allowed. So they don't really give up a ton. And you're seeing PJ Washington so far this series struggle. Now, in Game 3, he had a pretty good game, 16 points and 2 assists. But each of the other 3 games of the series, he has cashed the under pretty well. Looking at the head-to-head data this year, again, all 4 times he's played them has been in the playoffs. And you see here, 3 out of 4 times versus Minnesota in a 13.25 points plus assists per game average. So it's tight. It's not like he's missing it by a ton, but he still missed it in 3 out of 4. I think that probably continues tonight. I like PJ Washington. He's had a great run here with Dallas, but I do think Minnesota defensively is just way too much for him to handle. His story was a lot of fun versus the Thunder, but I think what you're seeing now is he's going up against a brick wall that I just don't think he can overcome. So I think the Mavericks are going to play, they've been playing well all series. I just don't think if they're going to win tonight, it's going to be on the back of a big PJ Washington game. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. That's why it's sports betting, but that's my first leg of my 4-leg parlay. All right, guys, moving right along. Second leg of our 4-leg parlay. We're going Mike Conley over 15.5 points plus rebounds. We're getting this from minus 105 here on DraftKings. Now, this data looks a little bit better. 8 of his last 10 games, he has cashed the over, including 3 straight games. Games 2, 3, and 4, he cashed the over. The only time in this series he's failed to cash the over was in Game 1. Had a really rough Game 1, just 6 points and 3 rounds. But each and every game since then. Sorry, guys. Just did my MLB video before this, so I've been recording for a little while now. Each of his last 3 games in this series, he has cashed the over. So it's been looking pretty good. And I put a little filter on, guys. So this is what I'm really focused on for this prop here. I put a little filter. So this filter put on, it shows only home games in Minnesota. And it also shows in a time range of 32 to 40 minutes played. So minimum of 32 minutes played, maximum of 40 minutes played. In that range, now I know this is very specific, but in that range and home this season, he has 8 games in that data range, a 75% hit rate, including 6 in a row. And you do see one of the games in the Dallas series on May 25th, one game in this series that it fell in this data range and he cashed it. You see there 18 points and 5 rebounds. So pretty good data spot here from Mike Conley. Now we'll go ahead and play around with that a little bit. So you see his last 5 games, he's averaging about 33.6 minutes. So putting it to 40 minutes probably isn't the right number. So we'll go ahead and adjust that. So we'll go ahead and put it down. We'll say 36 minutes, and we'll go ahead and say 32 minutes, between 32 and 36 minutes. So this year, now this is not home games. This is just all games in general. He's played 16 games this season in that data range of 32 to 36 minutes per game. A 69 nice percent hit rate, 11 out of 16 games, averaging 17.75 points per game. You see 2 games here in this Dallas series so far. He's cashed this. And if you go ahead and put that at home, we go ahead and narrow it down even more. We put it at home and 100% hit rate this season, 6 out of 6 games. So when you put those filters in, you kind of narrow the data down, you look for the specifics. It looks like a pretty good prop at home in this minute range, including, you see there's a game in this Dallas series where he's already accomplished his feat, 18 points and 5 rebounds. So solid spot for Mike Conley. He's been playing well this whole series. I think he'll probably consider that continue. Wow. Sorry, guys. Ultimate tongue twist of all time. Struggling right now. Apologies for that. But over 15.5 points plus rebounds. The moral of the story being, don't worry about the rambling. Don't worry about the tongue twisting. The moral of the story is the data looks pretty good. When you narrow it down, when you look for the specifics, I think Mike Conley's a pretty good bet here to cash. So that's the second leg of our 4-leg parlay. You guys are going to think I'm drinking before I do videos if I keep it up. Third leg of our 4-leg parlay here. We're going Anthony Edwards over 14.5 rebounds plus assists. We're getting this from minus 105 on DraftKings, but if you are doing it on FanDuel, it is available for plus 100. It shows there, but it's available on pretty much every sports book. And look, I don't want to touch any kind of point prop with Ant right now. His numbers have been way too sporadic here in this series, way too crazy. But go ahead and narrow down the last five games. 4 of his last 5 games, he has cashed the over, including 3 out of 4 games in this series so far, averaging 16.6 rebounds plus assists per game. I mean, that adds up. You look at the right side of the screen here in rebounds and assists allowed. The Dallas Mavericks, bottom 5 in both categories, assists and rebounds allowed to the shooting guard position. The only game so far in this series that he's failed to cash this over was in Game 2, where he had 5 rebounds and 7 assists. But each of the other games, he has cashed the over, and he didn't just cash it, he cashed it convincingly. You see 11 rebounds and 8 assists in Game 1, 9 rebounds, 9 assists in Game 3, and 10 rebounds and 9 assists in Game 4. Now, this line is very much elevated. You see on the year so far, just a 21% hit rate for Ant on this over because this line is very much elevated because of how he's been playing of late. The sportsbooks are trying to catch up with his production. And you see right here, it looks pretty good. His potential assists over the last 5 games, 13.2 potential assists per game, which is pretty good. And his rebound chances really high, 14.6 rebound chances per game. Games 3 and 4, really high numbers. So even like the lowest so far looks like his Game 2. He had 9 rebound chances in Game 2, 15 potential assists. The potential assists and the rebound chances are there, and that's the key thing here. As long as those stay high, business is a booming. And minutes played per game, 41.6 minutes. So we know he's going to be on the court for a shit ton of time here. A really solid prop again. I feel like Ant's going to have a pretty big game here in Game 5. I'm just afraid to touch the points because he's been so inconsistent with the points in this series. I'll take the rebounds and assists. I feel it's a safer bet and still pretty good line here. Minus 105 odds if you're going with DraftKings. Pretty good. All right, guys, before we dive into the fourth and final leg of today's parlay, we are about to hit the 10-minute mark in today's video. So if you're still watching to this point in the video, comment 10 down below. As always, I appreciate you guys who watch all the way through. And as always, the link for these picks for this parlay will be in the description below for you guys to go ahead and tail along. Again, of course, these are all straight lines. You want to bet them individually, you want to bet them as a parlay, whatever you want to do with them, that's your prerogative. Pretty good parlay, though. The odds are going to be pretty good. I'm going to show you the odds here when we finish up. If this hits, could be a nice money getter for us. All right, guys, fourth and final leg of today's parlay. We are going Luka Doncic here, over 39.5 points plus rebounds. Getting that for minus 108 on DraftKings. Pretty good value there for Luka. He has cashed in 3 straight games in the series, and you see what he's missing? He's just barely missing. In game 1 of this series, he had 33 points and 6 rebounds, literally missed it by 1. And the last game of that Thunder series, he missed it by 1. So when he's missing it very closely. But you do see here, he's cashed in 3 straight games in this series. Luka's been playing incredibly well in this series. Look at the last 10 games. Again, you see a lot of red, but you see a lot of close misses. When he's missing very closely. At this point in the year, you know the minutes per game. You know, especially guys like Luka, these superstars, you know they're going to be playing about 40 minutes a game. And he's averaging 41.4 minutes over his last 10 games. Let's narrow this down again back to 5 because we want to take a more of a focus on this Minnesota series here. And you see here the rebound chances, 13.2 rebound chances per game. So a ton of rebound opportunities here for Luka. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, they are bottom 10 in rebounds allowed to opposing shooting guards. So pretty good for us, although the points, you do see they are top 2, although Ant Edwards has kind of struggled with Luka in this series so far. And the Timberwolves in general have not just Ant, because Ant's also switched around, but you know the Timberwolves in general, they've had Jaden McDaniels on them a little bit. Whoever they've kind of had on Luka, it really hasn't worked that well up to this point. His lowest scoring game of the series so far was in Game 4. He had 28 points and 15 rebounds. So he's been having a really good series here. You look at the shot attempts. He's taking about 21 shots a game. So, you know, the volume's there. He's taking a ton of shots. It's a ton of rebound chances. About 10 threes a game from Luka. So the moral of the story is he's playing a ton of minutes. The volume is there. And right now, Minnesota doesn't seem to look like they can do anything to slow him down. And this has kind of been the case all year. You look at this season so far, including playoffs, they played 6 times this year. He's cashed the over in 5 out of 6 games, including the playoffs. Look at the regular season. Back on December 14th, he had 39 points and 6 rebounds. On January 7th, he had 34 points and 6 rebounds. So the only time he hasn't hit this line this season was in Game 1. And again, he missed it by 1. He had 33 points and 6 rebounds. So the data looks pretty good. He's averaging 39.22 points plus rebounds per game versus the Timberwolves. And again, that game there back on December 2022 is the outlier that kind of brings the data down a little bit. This is a filter to put in that shows Luka when he plays between 40 and 43 minutes a game this season. You see a 63% hit rate on the year, 15 out of 24 games this year where he's played in this minute range. He's cashed the over, averaging 41.38 points plus rebounds per game. And again, you see those close misses there. So when he's playing this many minutes, the volume is there. Look at the head-to-head data. Again, that's all games in the playoffs so far, so 3 out of 4. And down below, you see, again, when he plays as many minutes, the shots are there, the 3 points, the rebound chance, everything is there. So really solid fourth and final leg for today's parlay. All right, guys, so when you click that links pick down below, it'll take you to this page here. There's a recap of our 4-leg parlay. When you parlay all 4 of these legs together, you get a parlay of plus 1302. So for a 4-leg parlay, really fantastic odds. Of course, there's no alternate lines. These are all straight bets, but I've shown you guys the data looks pretty solid across the board for all 4. Again, one more time, guys. You can do what you like with the picks. If you want to bet them straight up, you can do what you want, but I'm just showing you guys in a parlay format, this is what it looks like. Plus 1302. Really good odds. You sprinkle a little bit of money on it. Or you can even bet some individually and then bet, in the parlay. Whatever the case may be, those are the picks for today. And I'm definitely running this parlay because the data looked pretty good. I could definitely see this hitting for plus 1302. Not too shabby. So, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. Apologies for kind of getting tongue twisted and losing my train of thought a couple of times here. I have been, like I said, working on these videos for the past 2 hours, 3 hours, trying, between MLB and doing this. But guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. Apologies one more time for, the last round or so, the playoffs kind of being a little inconsistent with the videos. Try my best with balancing everything with the golf tournament and everything. Shout out to everybody who also contributed for the golf tournament. Unfortunately, nobody who watched these videos who from YouTube who bought tickets won. It was someone from my hometown. that won. Shout out Debbie Gordon, who won the 50-50 raffle. But I really do appreciate you guys who did help. And just want you guys to know it goes to a good cause. We raised over $4,000 for Dana-Farber. So it was a great time, great cause. I got really shit-faced. I ended up falling into a bunker, smashed my face into a bunch of sand. So it was a time. It was a time, that was for sure. I had a little bit too much to drink, which is why I didn't do a video on Monday for Memorial Day. But guys, thank you very much, truly, for helping out, and I will be back whenever the night. If the Mavs, the Timberwolves win tonight, there'll be a Game 6. If the Mavs win, I'll see you for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Whatever the case may be, the next time there's basketball on, you will see me for another NBA player prop video. Until then, hope we're all winners, guys. Have a good one.